What's up, everybody? It's Ivan with Trouts Fly Fishing, back with the forecast for February 27th, almost March. It snowed a lot. Was it yesterday? Well, I guess 2 days ago if you're watching this on Saturday. It snowed a lot 2 days ago, but if you look at the forecast, there's a lot of springish weather ahead. So we're going to talk about a lot of the spring bugs that are coming, a lot of the things that you should expect over the next couple weeks with weather in the 50s at Deckers next week and in the 40s up in the high country. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about we're getting into spring. Like, we're clearly going to get still some winter weather throughout the month of March, but we're starting to be released from the grasp of winter. So things are going to start changing. There's some variation in bugs. Things get more active, so it's all good things from my perspective. Let's get down to it. Bugs, flows, and weather. So bugs, I chose a bunch of classics. Went with the old trusty standbys to start. So late February, early March, we start to see big spring midges, size 18s. So you're used to throwing the 22s and 24s all winter long. And then as we progress into spring, these big black spring midges show up. So I grabbed a Black Beauty in the size 18. It's a good, obviously, standby pattern for the South Platte, but it works pretty much everywhere. So another standby, RS2 and olive. Blue wings are on the horizon, and typically in the beginning of the hatch, as Tucker Bamford noted in last night's or a couple nights ago live stream, beginning of the hatch, bigger bugs from those blue wing hatches. So size 18 here in the RS2, always good on the swing, but super productive on the dead drift as well. Also grabbed, and this is a good fly for both tailwaters and freestones alike, Bars Emerger, another great blue wing emerger. So this is also in a size 18. 20 would also be a good option in any of those bugs, but yeah, can't go wrong with those. So the fourth fly I grabbed is the Conehead Woolly Sculpin. It's a variation of the Woolly Bugger, another classic. So these are all standards and go-tos, but they're standards and go-tos for good reason. As we're getting into March, you're fishing a lot of those freestones as it starts to warm up. A black Woolly Bugger generally is a good choice. This has a little bit of deer hair to create a nice profile, move a lot of water. You can also size up stuff and say throw like a Peanut Envy or something like that. Big fan of black. Other people would disagree and say olive is a good color. Those people are wrong. You know who you are. Shout out. No, I'm not shouting out. Never mind. Last fly, another classic, High Vis Midge. This is in the size 18. High Vis Griffith's Gnat in the size 18. Griffith's Gnats are supposed to look like sort of a cluster of midges, but with his big spring midges coming up, Griffith's Gnat is a great option, and the High Vis post, easy to see. If you've ever fished a real Griffith's Gnat, certainly effective fly, but you definitely need to throw a 2-fly rig with it because it is hard to track on the water. So the High Vis version, you can fish as a single dry, you can also fish as a double dry, so good option there. That's the flies. Let's get to weather. Do we weather or do we flows? We do flows. That's right, we go to flows. Let's talk about flows. Flows. We're talking about flows. So we've seen some drops in flows along the South Platte, below Cheeseman, the Dream Stream, 11 Mile, all below 100 now. So keep that in mind. Smaller and lighter tippet, maybe a little bit more technical and finesse approaches with your rigging. So less weight, lighter tippet. Along the freestones, we're still in the sort of late winter low flows. Obviously, you're going to have some melt coming in, being contributed by that snow that we got in the last couple days. So you'll see when it warms up, you might see bumps of cold water going through systems. Not to be super alarmed by it. You can still fish when it's a little bit off color, but that's a good time to use bigger bugs, so big stoneflies, caddis, and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, we're still in the low flows of winter, and as we get into spring, you'll see some variation in flows, especially on those freestones. Haven't seen anything about what's going to go on with the South Platte flows, if we're going to see a bump, when we're going to see a bump, but obviously we'll keep you updated when we get that information. So that's flows, nothing crazy. Yeah, let's get to weather. Officially, we're in weather. All right, let's talk about weather. So obviously we had quite a bit of snow last week, especially here in the Front Range. That's never a bad thing. We have some snow forecasted for the high country on Saturday, but as a general rule, if you look through the next 10 days, it's going to be pretty warm, both here and up in the high country. So you're going to start to see those freestones and tailwaters wake up. The bugs are going to start to get more active as we get more sunlight, and that means happy fish. So you move into a little bit faster water, and they'll be a little bit more eager to actively feed, whereas they might not, in months past, they're sort of getting dormant, sort of picking and choosing their times and sitting in the slower water. They're still obviously going to be in the slower water. Winter's not over yet, but we're getting hints of spring, and for me, I know I like winter fishing, but eventually it gets tiresome, and we're getting to that point where it's going to start to change a little bit. Streamers are going to be more of a productive option the way I like to fish them, so a little bit more actively, and you're going to start to see more dry flies coming off, both the big spring midge and then also the blueing olives. So start to get into that transition. It's no longer going to be the same, same rig every day. So you're going to have a variety of bugs, but it's never a bad thing to have choices and options. So yeah, check us out, troutspotfishing.com. Come swing by the shop, or here in Denver, up in Frisco. I hope to see you guys on the water. Have a good one.